What is up, EoP sports fans? It's Wednesday night. It's 8:30. It's time for EoP. I'm Big Al.
I'm Joe Sheeran.
I'm Freddie Burns.
And we are here to talk Philly sports with you. A lot going on in the Philly sports world, especially with the Eagles. Little topsy-turvy going on. The Flyers looking good. The Eagles aren't looking as great. Phillies news, we'll be talking about that. Well, we're going to start off a little off-topic conversation with you guys. We're going to get right into it because some things have been coming down we want to talk about. And one of the big things that made me scratch my head, I shared it with you guys as soon as I saw it. Shohei Ohtani, of course, signed that big, giant contract, biggest contract in sports right now, $700 million over 10 years. But the news came out that he's only getting $2 million a year for those 10 years, and then he's going to get it all at the end with the $680 million. And he asked for it. Guys, like, have you thought of any people are asking, is this going to be the new norm or something? People are going to do this to make room. I'm like, no, nobody's crazy enough to do it, but he's betting on himself. He bets on all the money that he makes from endorsements, that he'll have plenty of money. Mind-blowing. Like, are you guys just completely shocked by this? Joe, I'll start with you.
Am I shocked by the deferral? Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was absolutely ridiculous when I first saw it. I still think it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I get it to a point. Yeah, we all make jokes every year about, Bobby Bonilla Day. Every year on a certain date, he gets 1.3 million for, I think this might be the last year, maybe another year or two on it. But for $68 million per year for 10 years after the first 10 years of this contract, I mean, it's quite baffling. I think it's a loophole that has to be fixed. Of course, everyone's complaint is, or at least everybody complaining about it, and the Dodgers fans are saying, listen, like the CBA, like this is something that's legal. It may be a loophole, but it's something that any team can do. I don't think it's ever been thought of to this degree by any player, especially for that type of money. Ohtani, yes, he has money already. If you think about this, I still want to say kid. He's not old. Like he's still going to be around for probably those 10 years with the Dodgers. But he's already got money. He just had Tommy John surgery. He's not even going to be a two-way player all of next season. Basically, all they're banking on for him right now is his bat. And then who knows if in 2025 he goes back to that same pitching form, that dominance. Like it's more the Dodgers taking much of the risk. Like this just secures Ohtani's future and his family's future. I mean, it's a no-brainer for him. It's hair scheme by the Dodgers, but it's something they got away with, and it kind of stinks because just look at their roster already: Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, now Ohtani. We know they have a meeting with somebody else, or they already met with somebody else. We're going to be bringing back up, soon into the show, and it's almost like, how is this fair? Like, I don't want to be like that guy to be like, oh, like, the MLB should not allow this. How's this fair to other teams? But in the back of your mind, I mean, I feel like we're all thinking it. Like the Dodgers are just going to be even more of a powerhouse because they can add on to their payroll for the next 10 years. All the talent that wants to go there, everyone's going to be wanting to get there on that left coast. It's just, it kind of sucks. But I mean, to be fair, it's great for the Dodgers and it's a great business move for Ohtani. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
It's genius. It was a genius move by the Dodgers, and it was I don't really want to call it a loophole. It was I guess that is what a loophole is. Actually, it is. So, but they found a way to extend the contract and make it minimal. And the fact that he agreed to it shows you that he wants to win. He also wanted to stay on the West Coast in LA. He's already got a powerhouse team. I mean, to get him for $2 million a year for the next 10 years, it's just insanely genius. And now there's rumors they got to trade, bringing Trevor Glasnow over. But the Dodgers are always going to choke, guys. It doesn't matter. They're going to choke. And it doesn't matter. And I'm going to enjoy watching Ohtani just choke and never win it every single year. But in the back end of that contract, to your point earlier, Joe, he's already injured. So then it's going to get funny because they're going to owe all this money. He's going to be older, and he might not be the player he is now. He may not be a pitcher at all. And then they're just going to be stuck with this huge contract. Though the cost of players will higher at that point, so it may not be as bad. Kind of like the Bryce deal. Now suddenly we have to re-look at his deal because it's not that high as it was.
Well, and I want to stay on topic here, and I know we were going to touch a couple later, but you brought up Bryce, and I want to talk about that for a second. I mean, your guys' thoughts. Bryce Harper talking about an extension still with 8 years left on a contract. He's over 30 years old. I mean, does it matter? Does it register to you? Like, what are your thoughts on this? Fred, I'll start with you on this one.
It annoys me, actually. Like, stop. Like, why? Like, and he's saying it so he can be a Philly for as long as he possibly can, and I don't really buy that. I think the money's lower, and he just wants to figure out how to get more money now. Why don't we wait till year 4? Let's see where you're at that point. You can't extend the contract now. The whole point of the long contract in the beginning is maybe at year 10 or 10 years left or 3 years left on the deal. Then we can say, hey, how is Bryce Harper playing? What level is he at? And then determine the contract there. I'm kind of annoyed that it's even coming up.
Joe, I'm going to ask you the same question, but is it all because of Shohei Ohtani? Like, is that why he's probably talking like this with this now unprecedented contract? Do you think that has anything to do with it, or is it just timing?
I don't think it really has much to do with Ohtani. I think it has more to do with Scott Boras being an absolute weasel and, trying to, choke the life out of a team for every cent that they have. I'm with you, Fred. I am annoyed by it. And as I think we've all known, I have been Mr. Rah-Rah, top fan of Bryce Harper. And even I'm like, hey, this is not a good look. I mean, you're not even halfway through this contract yet, and you're already wanting more money. I mean, I think your whole point of taking less money and more years was to be able to continue to put talent on this team and spend the big bucks, paying JT back in, a couple years ago, bringing on Trey Turner. Well, what does this say, for the next 3, 4, 5 years when these guys are getting older and they have to bring on more talent? And Bryce, you are still a part of this team. What happens when they have no more, room under the luxury tax or slightly above the luxury tax, and the youth hasn't really panned out? Like, I mean, granted, it all could work out in the end. It could. But, I mean, I think I don't even know how much Bryce has to do with this. I think he's like, all right, great. If you can get some more money for me and, a few more years, great. But I don't think it's really a deal breaker. I mean, all baseball money's guaranteed anyway. He's making it. He gets endorsements. He supposedly is, he's in the pre-Monday Night Football video the other day, and he's saying he's labeling Philadelphia as my city. Well, what message does this send to your city when you're, X amount of years into the contract and you're already thinking, okay, I want more money? It's not a good look.
I know. It almost insults us that it's like, oh, I want to guarantee that I'm here for the rest of my career. Well, dude, at age whatever, you're going to guarantee, we're going to re-sign you if you're still playing at a good level and at a good price. So spare me this bull crap.
All right. And
I'm sorry, but I don't think I want a 42, 43-year-old Bryce Harper on the team anyway.
Well, that's
unless
he's
playing, but let's say he's playing at a DH level, then you get a DH contract that's in line with the way, that will work for the team at that time. We're not going to lock you up for that deal now and then say you can't even play baseball anymore. Like, say you're just terrible. Like, then we're stuck on the hook for all this money? No way.
Yeah, he's already played out of one position in right field because they're afraid of him screwing up his elbow again, throwing from the outfield. They had to put him at first base. Could he have returned the right field? Yeah, but that's not the way that they're looking at it. They want to preserve his health. And, I mean, what else? Yes, he's going to then play himself out of first base and have to be a DH once Kyle Schwarber's out of here and you're paying him $40-45 million a year? I mean, it's not worth it.
Well, we all talked about it, Joe. I remember you saying, like, hey, this is great moving him to first base. He's going to help, elongate his career maybe a little bit because he doesn't have to pay, throw and put so much strain on his shoulder and arm. Now he's looking at, I'm going to elongate my career. I better get paid the whole time too while I'm doing it. So yeah, I listen. It's not my money, but yes, I find it very annoying as well, especially for his age and having 8 years left on the contract. I mean, I understand get yours while you can, but it just seems really bad timing because here's a team, which we'll touch on a little bit later, who still hasn't really done much signings outside of the Aaron Nola signing. And I don't know if they're just waiting for the rest of the shoes to drop and then they're going to find out what's left because that's kind of what it looks like they're doing. But conversations can be had about that. But the other piece of not really Philly topic, two pieces actually. End of an era, Bill Belichick apparently will be done with New England no matter what at the end of this season. I mean, I could care less, but do you guys think Bill Belichick moves on and goes somewhere else, or is he done coaching?
I'll start with this, and I'm reading this last night, and it's like, yeah, okay, it's a no-brainer. They're not. I mean, all the questions was it Belichick? Was it Brady? You kind of see which way that has fallen, and you know what? It is an end of an era, and we know Bill Belichick. He's always going to go down as one of the greatest to ever do it, and I can't see him doing anything else other than riding off into the sunset. I mean, unless he becomes like a scout for a team, he'll probably be, even though he's like Mr. Sunshine, right? He'll probably become an analyst somehow. I just can't see him going to another team and, taking a back seat, and not being a head coach somewhere. But then again, it's like, well, does he really have the nuts to go off to another team and just prove even more that it wasn't, Bill Belichick, the head coach genius that brought the success to the Patriot all those years? We saw what he did in Cleveland. He goes on to the Patriots. He hits, lightning in a bottle with TB12. I don't see how he can go off and do anything else but retire or become an analyst or something.
When I heard the news broke, I kind of felt bad for him, oddly enough. It was he, even watching his press conferences, he just looks beaten down. But I think a place that could probably liven him up is Los Angeles, and the Los Angeles Chargers probably will fire Brandon Staley at the end of this season. He'll have a young quarterback, kind of like when he had Brady. So I do think there's places he would consider going, unless he wants to retire, unless he wants to be done. But I could see him going to the West Coast, the beach, the good weather, all that jazz. Also, there's been rumors that the Commanders were trying to work out a trade to get him, and Josh Harris, as say what you will about him with the Sixers and the Devils, he is not scared to spend money at all. So I think there's an avenue there. So I think he'll look around, but. To your point, Joe, he does look just like exhausted and beaten down. So maybe a change of scenery overall will be better for him to kind of maybe rejuvenate him. But I definitely don't see him as a coordinator anywhere. No way.
Yeah, and I'll bet you're saying you felt a little pity for him. Well, there's 3 other teams that have been in that division with the Patriots for a long time now, and he's come off like a smug prick after every game, after every interaction with them. There's nobody feeling bad for this guy too much.
I love that. I love how he does that. Like when Chip Kelly would do that stuff, I absolutely love it. I love when they just talk to the media because the media ask some stupid questions sometimes.
They do,
and I just love how he just completely just is like so annoyed at them. I get a kick out of it.
And one last, we're going to kind of get into 2, but one last real question before we move on to the topics at hand. Draymond Green, he was ejected from his 3rd game this year out of 15 games so far. Did this, I don't know, backhand spin. Looked like some 1980s wrestling move. Like it really was awkward and gets ejected from the game. And now, as of today, as of earlier, tonight, he is suspended indefinitely. What a moron. That's where I'm going to go with it. Like, just like I don't know what else to say to that. Like it's like he's happy about it. Like he doesn't seem, A, there's no remorse, and B, he's just like, it's like, I don't know if he wants to play for LA anymore for Golden State anymore. Or whatever it is. Like I don't get it, what the thought process behind this man is. If there's a thought process at all, he's just a petulant child.
I'm so over it. And you know what? He's such an idiot because he started doing his podcast and it's a good podcast. And I started to be like, you know what? Maybe Draymond's misunderstood. I was listening to it. I was really enjoying it. A few years ago, and then here and there, I would listen to it. And then he's on with the TNT guys, and he's very, knowledgeable, and he was good. And now he's just turned back into this, like, I don't know, Bash Brother type. It's just scummy, man. Like even if he didn't really intend, like, he's dramatic, and really if he didn't really intend to punch him in the face, which he did apologize for it, and he typically doesn't apologize for anything. Though he's buried himself so deep that he had to apologize to have any chance of not being suspended for the entire season. But I'm over Draymond Green. The leadership. I mean, Steve Kerr talks about everything under the sun under his press conferences, whether it's the Phoenix Suns, like, stadium and the way they do things, whether it's political, like, has everything to say all the time. But then when it comes to Draymond Green, he's like, I didn't see the replay. Like, so Draymond is taking a toll.
He's the only one.
Taking a toll on him. Jordan Poole, that whole thing, it's just taking a toll on the whole franchise. And it's just like, you know what? I suspend this guy, dude. I'm done with it. And I liked it when he was doing it to LeBron in the finals, but now he kisses LeBron's ass. So it's like, I'm almost like, dude, is he fake? Like, I don't even know. Like, he's a good player. I like the way his game, like, he's not a great shooter or anything, but he's a grimy guy, get rebounds, find the open guy. He can bring the ball up sometimes. But there's just no need for this. It's not basketball. It's you want to fake a flop, fine. But, like, the kicking people in the groin, the stomping them, the punch, the dramatics. I got no time for this stuff, man. Like, just play the game of basketball, man. Just play the game.
Yeah, I think I must have watched that replay about 30 to 40 times last night. Just trying to, like, each time I tried to understand what he was doing. And it's like I came up with no conclusion. I'm just like, I'm baffled at this moment. After so many times of watching it, like, what did he expect to come from this? Like, I mean, yeah, it didn't look like it was a closed fist. It just looked like he just turned around and clobbered the dude in the head, whether it was with his forearm, his wrist, some type of slap, whatever it was. And he went down hard. And then, yes, he came out, he apologized, and he was honest. He was like, hey, I was just looking to get the call. What call? What exactly? What motion of that did you think that you were going to get a foul called on you for? Like, it's delusional to me. Like it almost feels like he thinks he's bigger than the game. Like, he wants to have that bad boy persona. Like, yeah, he's a good defensive player. He was early in his career, compared to, like, Rodman, kind of the way he played. But no, like the theatrics, the drama, like to what you guys are saying, like, nobody has time for this. Like, this is basketball. This is just it's a game. It's a goddamn game. And, like, he's out there, he's stomping at people, he's kicking them in the groin. Yeah, like, something had to be done. The hammer had to be brought down on this guy. And early enough, I was listening to radio, and jokingly they said, you saw him bring back this type of mentality, this bruiser mentality, after he got married. So it's like something's happening at home, and he's bringing it to the court, and he's taking it out on everybody. But, I mean, jokingly enough, whether that's true or not, but, like, it's a game. It's basketball. It's not supposed to be taken so violently. I mean, there's no place for it.
It looks like a move out of Street Fighter. That's all I'm going to say. Some stupid, ridiculous move that you did in a video game back in the late 90s. But he's an idiot, and we can move on from that because I want to discuss the Eagles. This is the discussion at hand, the discussion going throughout all of Philly Sports Nation, whatever you want to call it. But real quick, before we do, I want to jump into it. I do want to jump into it. I remind you guys that they are playing against the Seahawks this Monday. As we saw, Vince did an amazing job flexing with that because they flexed his game. They flexed the whole Philly Sports Trips. But it is too late for you to jump on board with them for this. But there's plenty of games, plenty of things going on. You want to jump and watch the Flyers play at MetLife Stadium on February 17th for that outdoor stadium series. Check it out. Go to phillysportstrips.com. You want to get a little warmer weather, go check it out. Spring training. Oh, they got different lined up. They have March 1st to the 4th, 13th to the 18th, 15th to the 20th. You name it, they got it. So many Philly Sports Trips. They even have one for the Sixers on the West Coast. Go to phillysportstrips.com. Tell them EoP sent you. So the Eagles, Best in the biz, right? Yeah. The Eagles lost to the Dallas Cowboys 33-13.
I missed
2
it.
weeks. You missed it, yeah. You didn't miss anything, that's for sure. I was sick during this
You
whole.
wish you missed it.
I sure did.
Before the game started, I didn't think I could be any sicker. Well, the Eagles proved me wrong. 2 games in a row, they just looked just haphazard, lost, without an identity, whatever cliche words you want to use. Fred, I'm going to start with you, man. Like, what, if you're Coach Fred, head coach Fred Burns over here, what is wrong here? Where do you start?
I brought the chain, boys. I still have the chain. I'm still in. I'm more upset about the 49ers game, if anything. The Cowboys game, I actually can wrap my head around. I don't think the Cowboys game was as bad as everyone's making it out to be. I think it came down to the main thing was turnovers. That opening drive, if Hurts does not fumble that ball, that's very likely 7-7 or 7-3. The A.J. Brown fumble on the opening drive or the
penalty.
Opening drive of the second half was at the 40-yard line going in. So if you score a touchdown there, it's a different game. The Jalen Carter, right after that, they got a 3-and-out, and then there was a 3rd and 6 where they sent an all-out blitz. They almost had Dak, but they connected to Ferguson, and they ended up getting a 59-yard field goal. And then even at the end, Devontae Smith, if he's hit the 15-yard line going in, guys, if he doesn't fumble that football, we have a 30-20 football game, and there's about 6 minutes to go. So I think the turnovers can't happen in any NFL game at all to win football games, let alone against the Dallas Cowboys. So, I'm not like down in the dumps like everyone. Like, we're 10-3. I realize we're not as dominant as the 10-1 team we looked like or thought we were. So I don't want to just like poo-poo it. But as far as the offense goes, I'm not really that concerned. I wish they would commit to running the ball a little more. At one point, Swift had 3 carries, and he was averaging 0.7 yards. He ended up averaging 3.5 yards per carry. So if they would have committed a little more to it, I think they would have had more success. I'm tired of the Gainwell sprinkled in, even though he did do well. Defensively, got to figure something out, man. That was a problem. Like, they lit us up. After the 49ers did what they did to that defense, for the defense then to come out that opening drive and just they ran the ball down our throats. Like, running is supposed to be our strength. And they ran the ball down our throats that first drive. They end up throwing it for a touchdown pass. 3rd and inches, 4th and inches. They do an end around to Turpin. Turpin goes for like 40, 50 yards. Like,
Yo, he's so fast.
He is. He's very fast. The defense is definitely a concern. And I know Sean Desai's getting a lot of criticism here. He is a first-year coordinator. I don't like some of the schemes, but I mean, it's more the players, guys. Like, you got to tackle, man. You got to tackle. Like, Ferguson can't catch that ball and run for 40 yards with you dragging him on your back, him dragging you on your back. Like, and to get punched in the face by the 49ers, and then to come back and get punched in the face again just really annoys me. I didn't like a lot. The run was getting stuffed. He had Jalen Carter out as the rotations with the defensive line. I did not like. Like, if you're getting gashed, I know Jalen Carter statistically hasn't been the best run guy, but him and Jordan Davis in the middle definitely cause a hole or start a plug there. So you asked me, Coach Fred, I kind of go back to Sirianni. I would double down on the philosophy that got them where they are and where they got last year. But at the same time, there has to be a toughness aspect to this to be like, hey, guys, like, let's go. Let's hit someone. The comments by DeMarcus Lawrence about, punching them in the mouth, and then when they're down, punch them in the mouth some more, really shows you what this league thinks of this team, and they think they're soft. They got to toughen up.
Coach Joe?
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I mean, if we just, I guess I'll kind of go back to the beginning of the game as well. That first drive, they were cruising. They were going down the field. Jalen was looking really good, and then he puts the ball on the field again. That's just something that he has had a trouble with, all season long. It seemed like he has gotten better when it comes to the interceptions. He's lessened them, but the fumbles continue to be there. Ball security has to be number one when he is tucking it and running. It has to be there mentally. He just has to get better with that. I kind of feel to the way Fred was saying, like the Niners game bothered me a lot more than this game. For whatever reason, I mean, even though Dallas just seemed to be dominating the whole game, I did feel like the Eagles were that one or two plays away from kind of really being back in it. And then we see the Jalen Carter fumble 6, and I was like, okay, I think at that point it was 24-13, and I was like, okay, the Eagles are a stop and a score away from being really back into this. But they couldn't stop anything at all. And what's really odd is, like, when you look at the stats from Bradbury and Darius Slay, I mean, it looked like they were containing their receivers, very well. Like, it wasn't coming from their sides of the ball, really. Their best tackler and Reed Blankenship, we lost him, earlier in the game, but Sidney Brown was out there running sideline to sideline. He's put together 2 really good games. Offensive side of the ball, the AJ fumble, that to me is mental as well. He almost lost one against the Bills. We were lucky on that one. This one, not so much. He dropped that pass inside the 5 along the sideline. Devontae Smith with his fumble. These things are, and I'm really only speaking for AJ and Devontae right now. Is like, these plays are an anomaly to these guys. These games aren't typically what the performance we're going to see out of them. They're going to right that ship real quickly. You can see Devontae on the field. He was beside himself with that fumble, and it was actually inside the 15. I think it was like the 12-yard line. So, I mean, outside of Jalen's fumble, the other 2, it's a shame that it happened. And the score looked a lot worse on paper than I thought it really did on the field. And Desai is finally kind of catching up to speed that Brian Johnson has been, getting for the past couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, whatever it is. And you know what? Players play. You guys are 100% right. We can sit here and we can complain about the OCs, the DCs, the HCs. Doesn't matter what it is. All the Cs. But the players are out there and they play. And it's going to be them who makes us feel right about this team. It's not going to be because of a scheme or a blitz or how aggressive they're playing. It's the players that have to be out there and just play a better brand of football. The past 2 games is not the brand. It's not the main thing. The main thing is not the main thing. The standard is not the standard. They're going to right the ship. I mean, Monday, I don't know. I'm a little worried about Monday too.
Well, let me push back a little bit on this. I agree with you. Players play, and I rarely blame coordinators in some way, but I listen. Turnovers, big difference in the game. Absolutely, that was the difference. Complete difference in the game. But this team is vanilla. I mean, everything that comes, it's coming. Like there's nothing special. And you would think after that Niners game, you guys bring that up, after that Niners game, with all the way that they just threw different things, they didn't run anything special. They just disguised things. They made things look different. What's coming. This is where I will push back on the coordinators. He's going to throw it to AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, or Zach, and then or maybe DeAndre is going to run the ball. That's it. You don't have to respect Zacchaeus. You don't have to respect Julio Jones. You don't have to respect the run of Jalen Hurts. So you now have made your offense super one-dimensional. So all the great, and you see where the frustration's coming from this team, because they feel like they're not getting anywhere with the way things are being called. We saw this with Jonathan Gannon in 2021 with the Vegas game. I think Fletcher Cox called him out. He was all pissed off at him and all that stuff. This team, and I'm not just blaming Sean Desai, and I'm not just blaming Brian Johnson, and I'm definitely not just blaming Nick Sirianni. I'm blaming them all 3 of them. Like there has to be there is nothing that looks good from this team right now. And and that can translate to what come from turnovers, because they're forcing things or and listen, I think the Niners and the Cowboys from that Niners game saw something. Like, give Dan Quinn credit because he saw like this team is in their own way, and because of this lackluster offense, this lackluster defense, and being very, again, vanilla, and exposable. Like I think we expose our problems more than anybody else does, more than an opposing defense or more than an opposing offense. We expose ourselves, and that's why I'm pushing back on the coordinator thing because of that reason. Yes, players play 100%. Players play, but if you're playing and again, is it Jalen Hurts forcing it to AJ Brown because AJ Brown complains about it, or because he feels more comfortable with AJ and Devontae and Zach, but he doesn't feel comfortable with anybody else? What made this Eagles team really good last year is that they got in front of people and they put their foot on the pedal for the most part. They were the best second quarter team in all of football this year. They're probably the worst second quarter team in all of football this year. They just don't do anything to make themselves better, to throw the team off. And because they spread that ball out is what made them so good. And I know I've gone on a long rant here, but it has been hard to watch. Hard to watch.
I gotta disagree with you though. They averaged more yards per play than Dallas last game. They moved the ball up and down the field. If they don't turn the ball over, they're fine. They had 218 yards passing, 106 rushing. It's not as putrid as everyone's saying. And maybe it's vanilla, but I don't see how it's necessarily vanilla. Like they hit their playmakers. Like who else? They hit their and the 2 weeks before they did hit Zacchaeus for a touchdown down. It's been the last two games. The 49ers game was a concern, but like last week they moved the ball well. They just fumbled and turned the football over. The only thing my gripe may be some play calling. I know there was we're driving in. I forget. End of the third quarter. It was a 3rd and 8, 4th and 9, back-to-back plays. Yeah, we gave it up on 4th down. And the play, whatever the play call was, had A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith running underneath routes and below the sticks. They both caught the ball and were well short. I mean, but outside of that and not giving a commitment to the run, I can't fully agree with that, Al. They have more yards per play than the Dallas Cowboys last week.
Yo, another thing that really pissed me off is on the road, it's 4th and 9, and it's within Jake Elliott's range, and they go for it. Like sometimes, having big.
Yeah, I agree.
Having big balls sometimes is great, but when you're on the road and you already look like you can't score at all, you take those points. Because right after that, Dallas drove the ball down again and scored another touchdown and made a 3-score game. And if they took that field goal, it would have remained a 2-score game. So sometimes playing smart is just the right way to do it.
Well, listen, yeah, it's like anything. I think they were talking about it and give Dallas credit for finding Aubrey, who could just kick 50-yard field goals as well. Like, what a great thought process. You get to the 50-yard line, 45-yard line, you're going to at least get 3 points out of it if they continue that. But, like, Fred, like, I get what you're saying, and sometimes these numbers look really good, but, all right, time of possession.
Visually, it did. Visually, yeah. I'm like, wow. And at any point in that game, didn't you think we could make a move? Like, I was never like, this game's done. I never was like, it's over. I was engaged fully until the end when Devontae fumbled that ball. Then you knew it was over. But right there, I'm like, whoa, we still have a shot. Are we going to win? No. But we have a shot here. We have the ability to. And I don't see what everyone else is saying offensively. I just don't.
You know what else happened in this game? 3 picked up penalty flags. On the first score by Dallas, when CeeDee Lamb scored that touchdown and the flag was picked up, I did personally say this game is over. If this is the way that this game is looking already, then it's over. Of course, I was being dramatic. My heart was in it the entire time. But 2 more flags after that picked up on touchdown drives? I mean, there's got to be something up here.
I'd never seen that. And I said even in our messenger, I said, I don't think I've ever seen 3 picked up flags in one single game, let alone in a single season. Sometimes,
Yeah.
usually they throw the flag, they're like, I guess we got to run with it. But like, I was like, I didn't know if the NFL was trying something new, and of course, with us, they always trying to try something new in big games for us, the Super Bowl. But like, like, I know what you're saying, but like, let's take time of possession. One of the big gripes, like that we've had is like, oh, this schedule's been difficult, and you have 2 teams who've had 10 days rest versus us, who played so many games in so much time, and the defense had to play so many snaps. Well, and also let's not forget, you got Jalen. Your secondary. Our defensive scheme, as it was last year, as this year, is our secondary is based on how well our front, gets to the quarterback and puts pressure on the quarterback. Well, you got 2 rookie guys who are, to me, hitting a bit of a rookie wall right now, and now that's exposing our secondary. And there was no plan for it. Josh Sweat's not getting them, and even he said, "I don't want, I can't, I don't want almost pressures. I want sacks." Like, this team is not executing as it should, and I am worried about this game too. We got another really good wide receiver core that we're going to go up against. Now, is it going to be Geno Smith? No, I'm just going to say it's going to be Geno Smith, and to me, it's like Drew Lock. I don't know. Like, they both did well. Now they were divisional games against the Niners. Drew Lock did okay considering, but this isn't going to be a walk in the park. Now, again, Seattle's O-line has been suspect for the year, but every time the Eagles tend to be against a suspect O-line, we get 1.5 sacks in that game, or they just don't get the pressure that they want. Like, it's kind of been the MO for a little while, and they need to break this cycle. And I don't know if the one thing I've heard a lot is, oh, they haven't played their best football yet. It's week 15. When are you?
Yeah, but hold on. Argument real quick. Just going back to the Dolphins game, the whole talk, even before the season started, was that stretch, the gauntlet. If we told you back then that going into Seattle, that from Dolphins to now, the Eagles went 5-2 going into Seattle, wouldn't you be saying, "Oh, I'll take that all day," regardless of who the teams they lost to? I mean, that to me is impressive. And yeah. If they went 5-2 in that seven game stretch of gauntlet and they haven't played their best football yet, I'm all for it, man. Bring on Seattle.
Well, listen, I'm happy with knowing that they're at 10-3 now. Like, I'm not looking past that fact, but what I'm looking at is going forward. Like, Seattle, like, everybody's like, well, we get past Dallas. Pretty much everybody's expecting a 4-0 run. Seattle, to me, is not a 4-0 run. The Giants looking to play spoiler, that's huge for them because they're playing some decent football right now.
They're actually in the playoff hunt.
Yeah. And the Cardinals playing spoiler wouldn't be surprising to me either. So
Gannon certainly would love to do that.
So my thing is, there's no guarantee here, and just I don't know. It's hard for me to see anything change unless they're making changes, and everything we've heard. Now, listen, I don't expect Nick Sirianni to go, yeah, we completely revamped the offense. We're going to do this, this, and this. We run these play packages here, and on the defense, we're going to do this. We're going to change this up. No, I don't expect him to come out and tell everybody his game plan. But right now, it looks like they're just content with the status quo, and then it'll fix itself, and that's where I'm nervous.
This is what I don't understand, and I guess I'll just go back to the Dallas game, is we talk about run the ball, and they don't in that first half, and then with 3 straight run plays to DeAndre to start the half, it looked like they made that adjustment, and that's how they were going to come back in the game and beat Dallas because they know teams can run on Dallas. And then after that, and those 3 straight runs were successful. Swift was averaging like 6 yards, and then they completely go away from it. I don't get that. Like, you see what is working. You like just even if it was an experiment to see how the first series went with running the ball, that sample size was enough to tell you that you can run on Dallas and you can march it down the field. And then they do a 180, and it's a cluster F again. Well, I don't get that.
It's like they panic. Oh, well, the ball, we're not getting 150 yards in the first quarter, so we got to go right to the run game. It's not 3 yards in a cloud of dust for us. They need 7, 8 yards every time, or they abandon it right away. And I heard Nick Sirianni say, I think it was Sirianni, that or it was Brian Johnson, I forget. But recently, one of the two of them just said that we have a really deep running back room. I think I'm trying to think. Boston Scott ran the ball early in the game and knocked off a nice chunky run. And then never saw him again until it was too late. Until it was garbage time football.
Like, wasn't there a portion of the offseason where Rashad Penny was our only running back on the roster?
Yeah, because they re-signed Scott and gave.
But I think that. Brother. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. I forgot about Gainwell. But yeah, but I think before Boston Scott, they signed Rashad Penny.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know what this deep running back room is when he's inactive every game. He was inactive again for in the Dallas game.
That's my point. How can you sit there and talk about a deep running back room? And this is where the disconnect comes in from my pushback on the coordinators. Well, we have this deep running back. Rashad Penny has touched the ball 5 times maybe this entire year. 5 times. Boston Scott occasionally here and there. What was that?
I don't think he's touched it. He might have touched it once.
I think it was more than once, but less than 5, somewhere in that range.
I'm giving it 3. I'll say 3. I'll go right in the middle.
It might be 0.
I've seen him in there.
But my point is what is the point of having a deep?
It's 5 on the dot. Sorry.
Wow.
On the dot. There you go. 5 carries, 17 yards.
And I honestly did not know that. I was just pointing that was just a number I picked out. But my thing is why talk about a deep running back room when you're not going to use them? They maybe use Gainwell a little bit here, but they don't even use DeAndre Swift that much anymore. They use him and then they walk away from him, and then they walk away for it for a while. Like it's like, here's your game plan. We're running a couple times. Oh, we didn't get 100 yards. Boom, we're going to start throwing. We'll run it around the 4th quarter.
Guys, there was a time come draft, back in the draft, that people actually thought that the Eagles were going to draft Bijan Robinson to do what? They don't use running backs to do what? I mean, that's like looking back on it, and I took it with a grain of salt, but I was always like, hey, what if? Like, just to even think of that at this moment is asinine. Like, I don't want to hear about the Eagles ever going out and getting a high-priced, talented running back again.
Yeah, well, no. Well, it wouldn't be high price in the beginning, but yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Use a high draft pick, that's for sure. But guys, remember, it's the holiday season. It's time, shopping's getting close. We're getting closer to Christmas every day. And, sometimes getting out to the stores is not easy. You know where I go? I go to sherrystickets.com. That's where I go. Sports, concerts, theater, you name it, they got it. The price you see is the price you'll pay. You won't overpay. You won't get hit with any crazy fees at the end. And guess what? You save an additional 10% off using that great promo code EoP10. That's right. EoP10 will save you 10% at sherrystickets.com. Again, that promo code is EoP10 to save 10% at sherrystickets.com. Let's hit some of these comments. I feel like we haven't touched on too many. Let's see.
And thank you for all the comments, everyone listening right now. I was looking for them. Please hit that like and subscribe button, share it out. We really appreciate it. It really helps us out, especially that like on every show and sharing and obviously subscribing. So thank you so much for the support and the comments.
Yeah, absolutely. Angry Ants here. What pisses me off the worst is the Eagles show no heart, and all they do is shoulder tackle and too much looking at each other and who's going to make the tackle. I thought the Eagles got their ass kicked when they faced the Niners, and I thought it would come out fired up, but they came out scared and didn't want to play. Did you guys get a feeling that the Eagles, I wouldn't say scared, but like were pressing a little too much during that Dallas game? Maybe why the turnover issue?
I don't think professional athletes are ever scared ever. Like I don't think they go in it. They've been playing football their whole life. They're playing at a very high level. But I do think there's an issue with the tackling and the approach, and there's not an anger, a meanness, a violence to the way they're tackling. And Slade basically confirmed that in his podcast. He's not trying to get his head in there. He's trying to talk to his kids later on in his career. I don't care. Like, you shouldn't tackle with your head down. That's how you get paralyzed. I had to run 10 laps if I did that in practice. But you do got to put some emphasis and try to make a hit and let that person know you're there.
And wrap up. At least you can slow the guy down, and a gang tackling can happen. There's a million things. Quentin's saying, what's coming offensively, defensively. That's kind of what I said earlier. It's just very vanilla. Just everything seems.
Supposedly the players are saying how predictable they are. So
that should tell you something.
Yeah, AJ Brown, we know who it is.
Sometimes at the snap, a player alignment looks unsuccessful. Play is coming. Dives checking in here. The Eagles' offense is going to have to score at least 30 points in the current status of the defense. That's what it feels like. And I wonder, again, does that make the offense press themselves a little harder because they know they have to put the points, and then, of course, mistakes are made. The next handful of games is all about the offense getting their groove back, especially with the O-line redefining themselves in their run blocking. Let me ask you guys that question real quick before I read this next comment. Let's play devil's advocate. They beat Seattle. They go on. They say they go on a 4-0 run, end the season, get that first round bye. Seattle's still a good team despite what their what are they 7-6 or something right now, or
they've
whatever.
lost 4 in a row, which never has happened in the Pete Carroll era.
Wow.
They're 6-7. Yeah. So
oh great, they're due for a right game. Awesome.
Yeah, right. And they're desperate if they want any chance at any playoff run. But like does that make you feel better? Or they just beat bad teams?
Well, they haven't beat bad teams. We're still looking at the schedule saying
no.
They beat
he's saying that these last 4 games, will you feel better after?
Got you. Will I feel better? To be honest with you, I think I will, because regardless, we still have 2 against the Giants. One's at home, one's on the road, but regardless, it's division, and the Giants and Tommy DeVito, whatever his name is. They're playing above average football to put themselves in the hunt. So, and of course, especially division teams, they always want to play spoiler, like we said earlier in this. It wouldn't surprise me if they go 1-1 against the Giants. But if they go out and they, beat Seattle, who will be a good win, I don't care about the record. It's on the road. I don't think the Eagles have won in Seattle since Vietnam. If they go out and they win these next 4 games, 2008. I was close. Yes, I'll be happy with that. I don't care what the talent is.
All right. Fred, will you be happy with that?
Yeah.
Will that settle you? Will you feel like, oh, this team's back, we're good to go? Or
I don't ever look at it like that. I don't understand how we ride this it's football, man. It happens it's we're 10-3. Do we forget what it was like when we had Carson Wentz and we were 5-6 and had to win 5 in a row with no receivers on the field. He put the team on his back just to get the hell in the playoffs. Ironically, to lose to Seattle. Do we forget all this stuff? Even before Hurts's first year where we got in, we played the Bucs. You know what I mean? That early on in that year was that was a struggle. The Chip Kelly era, Andy Reid. The one year where they were 2-5, and we went to the NFC Championship. Can we just freaking enjoy the games as they go? I'm cool with getting pissed off about the Dallas game and the 49ers game. I am pissed off, but this whole okay, let's just win the 4 games. If we win it, I'm going to feel good. But I'm not I'm going to still be nervous for that playoff game. It's not going to make me be oh yeah, we're a lock to win it all. We're never a lock to win it all. No one's ever a lock. And I get frustrated with that. I get frustrated with it.
I think I'm at the point, not only in this season, but almost with my fandom, to where I don't dwell on it. Am I upset per se as I'm watching the game? Saying this is my squad. They could do better. This isn't the team that they really are. I know that they can go out and play much better than this. And will I be it sucks. I'll watch post game, blah. But I'm not going to dwell on it anymore. As you guys know, something happened in my family a couple weeks ago where it's still weighing on the mind, and I've come to the conclusion where this stuff is just a game. I still have my passion for it, but it's nothing that's going to really hamper my next day or two or whatever. Like it just is what it is at this point. I'm going to enjoy the wins. I'm going to hate the losses, but regardless, I'm going to enjoy the ride.
I'm glad Joe's the mature one on the group.
Yeah, it's about time.
Right. The real RMP says defense is not the problem. They've consistently given up 30 a game now in the last 2 games. The offense stayed at home, so it's highlighted the defense. I like how he said they're giving up 30, so it's not really their fault. They do it consistently, so we'll let them slide.
Let me just touch on one thing with the defense. Besides the 49ers game, which was total just craziness, like terrible. The defense has adjusted in the second half most games. Miami, they shut Miami out. They shut the Chiefs out in the second half. Even Dallas only scored 9 points in the second half, and there were multiple 3-and-outs as well as a defensive scoring touchdown. So the pass rush has to get better, but there are signs of life, I guess. The problem is, I think, with Desai, is he kind of needs to adjust on the fly, where he needs to come up with a game plan to attack and come out up front and stop them. The first half, I feel like we're already behind. Ironically, the one game he did was the 49ers. We shut them out, and then he got blanketed for the rest of the game, which is pretty crazy. But if you think about that game, though, it was short throws and missed tackles. It wasn't the scheme necessarily. How could it be the scheme when Debo catches the ball 3 yards out and they miss the tackle? If the guy makes the tackle, he's down right there. It's a 2-3 yard game. So it's hard for me to wholly put it on Desai.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that you're bringing up is so huge when it comes to the tackling and Darius Slay not putting his head down. I mean, they're either looking to push him out of bounds or, a shoulder tackle, just kind of nonchalantly put him on the ground, not a hard hit or anything like that. And when it comes to that aspect of it, and when you do you think, because I'll just say it, Darius Slay and Seth Joyner were going back and forth on Twitter. Do you think criticizing these guys to the point of where they're going to see it and they have to respond to it, is that doing any good for anybody? I don't know if Seth, or I know Trey Thomas was involved in the tweets, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if it's tough love to try and get these guys to go on the field and play to their potential or make a hard tackle. I don't know exactly what the point of them complaining about it is, but is there just too much back and forth bickering between current players and former players about the play on the field?
I agree.
I think it's the day and age in that situation, Joe. 2023. I mean, Seth's an analyst. That's what he does. So he's also very opinionated. So it's going to be. Does it help? No. But again, we talk about other teams giving you bulletin board material, so it depends on how you look at the situation. Hitting a couple more of these comments is the Eagles are going to lose all 4 games because the Giants are starting to play good. Seattle has a good defense.
Well, they don't play them 4 games.
Well, no, we say they're losing all 4 games. Saying Seattle has a good defense, Arizona gets sneaky. I think Anthony, the sky is falling for him right now. Maxie sucks. Thanks, Quinn. By the way, the Sixers did win 129-111 over the Pistons. Pistons are now lost 21 straight games. Can you imagine?
Shout out Pat Bev.
There you go.
My man Pat Bev, shout out.
Yeah.
Messi did suck tonight, by the way.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Scariani has to get these guys up for Monday. The Seattle owes us one for knocking out Carson Wentz in the playoff game. Aaron said, I was watching other games. A lot of times a guy would fumble and wait too long to blow the whistle, and it confuses everyone, and then they make the call. I don't know exactly the thing he's talking about there.
They're making the call on the fly. There was a call with one of the picked up flags where it happened during a commercial break. Nobody knew what happened. They went to a commercial break. The announcement was made, and it was just okay, Dallas scored. No explanation. Nobody knows what happened. It just, doesn't matter what happened. Dallas is on the scoreboard again. Doesn't matter.
The Eagles are last in defense. That's not changing. Probably. I mean, that's
probably not.
I mean, the thing is I don't expect this defense to become a top 10 defense. but like just somewhere in the middle at 15 or something, I'd be happy with. Just because, listen, if you have a top flight offense, you can get away with the top, the 15th ranked defense, especially in the playoffs. But we'll find out. Too high safety, 2 linebackers. CB's giving 7 to 10 yards. Cushion defense is garbage.
Especially on 3rd and short. When you do that on 3rd and short, what a killer.
Yeah.
But Sean Desai did comment on it, and he actually was right. The first game, he stayed off, and Dallas actually throws on 3rd and short. So at least he had like a reason for it.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Quentin saying Brian Johnson can never explain his usage of the running backs. Don't be surprised if Howie is going back to his old self by talking to Sirianni and Johnson and getting in their ear by what plays to run. I would hope that's a non-issue.
There's always been a conspiracy that Lurie, not only Howie but Jeffrey Lurie, top brass of the franchise, that they just want this to be a pass happy team. There's nothing that I've seen other than that 2 years ago where they became extremely run heavy and then they started winning games. Other than that, I have never seen anything from this team to show that they are committed to a run at all.
Yeah, no, and I like I said, I don't know if I want to get back into that conversation if they're whispering, you guys got to throw the ball more. I mean, I would think at this point they learned that lesson to either let the coaches coach or get new ones. I'm sorry, but it's over. That's not a Taylor Swift song. That's our season if we lose to Seattle. Is Seattle a must-win for you guys? Like,
yeah.
Like if that a must-win?
Yeah, it is.
Come on, dude. How's it a must-win?
Because to be honest with you, they lose. And you know what's odd is, and I know I'm the one who posted it weeks ago, but there was this a lot of sources, a lot of people saying that the Eagles already clinched weeks ago. And now it turns out that they haven't. They've had to win one of these past 2 games to finally clinch. Well, if they win tomorrow or Monday night, again, they clinch. If they don't, there is a chance that they don't even make the playoffs. I mean, what happens if they lose Monday? The Giants play spoiler out of 1 of 2. They're already in the 5th position. There's a chance they don't make the playoffs.
Dude, they'll be 14-4.
I know.
Or they'll be 13-5. They're going to make the playoffs.
I don't know.
It's not a must-win. No way. It would be. It's going to be a problem when they lose, but.
Now, Mike, hold
on. What exactly is a must-win to you then?
Like the season's over.
Well, what he's saying is,
that's what a must-win to me is.
I guess what he's saying is, if they lose to Seattle, it puts us really behind the 8 ball and pretty much really hard to hit that one spot. I guess what he's saying. At that point,
you don't have to speak for me. I'm saying it's a must-win because they.
I'm not speaking for you.
Thank you, Joe.
No, I'm saying Quentin. I think is what he's trying to say. Not you, Joe, but Quentin. That's what I was going.
That's the me and Joe must-win combo.
That's what I thought it was too.
But he goes, Mike's saying, how about nobody worried about the 49ers 3-game losing streak, Cleveland, Minnesota, Bengals? I mean,
I just Googled it. A noun, a contest, a project, a scheme of which a successful or victorious outcome is essential because anything less would negate all preceding efforts.
Okay.
And what happens if they lose all 4?
Oh, that's different. Monday is
every game's a must-win at this point.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, Mike brings up a good point here. The Niners want to skip. Like the thing is, can this team right the ship enough to kind of get us back, making us feel like they are contenders again? I think they can, but like I said, they gotta revamp some things.
Not only can they will. They will. And Sirianni and Jalen Hurts has done nothing else but prove that to us in the last 3 years. So for us to jump ship on this squad after 2 bad losses, 1 very bad, last week was more shooting yourself in the foot, is insane to me. And it goes, you might as well be that person standing there with the trash cans and the fire side
bring that up
because it's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. We did it to Wentz, And Wentz went on to win 5 in a row and get us to the playoffs. And then we just tear things down. There was a caller on WIP today calling for Tanner McKee. Like the first caller. And I'm like, oh no. Are we serious?
Well, I've relegated these people, the trash can guy, especially the second one.
The second one was ridiculous.
The second one, that was I'm copycatting because I want to be on social media. I want WIP to talk about it. And then these callers, especially on WIP, man, like we Joe, you put a post about it with what's his name, Chuck
from Mount Airy.
Yeah, like, oh well, I don't give a shit what Chuck from Mount Airy thinks.
No, no.
I love how WIP.
I mean, Bryce Harper does apparently, but I mean, outside of that, nobody could care less.
He did because Chuck fired him up that day. He didn't do it because him and Chuck are best of buddies over here. Anthony's saying what problem is the running game was setting up the passing game and now offense keep passing. I don't blame the DC. They don't get a chance to get a drink because right away they're back on the field. Plus, it seems that the OC and DC is losing the players. I mean, hopefully it's just one player, not all the players. We got a great record with a bland offense and a bottom defense. Fans can understandably have concerns about this team even while winning.
Let me ask you this. I want to ask both of you guys this, not only Fred, because we were just going back and forth. Is this a must-win for team morale? Because what if they go out cross-country and they put up another stinker, and then there's more rumblings coming out of the locker room? Last year, this team seemed like they were very close. There's already some stuff going on. I mean, whether you believe it or not, but I think if they have another bad game, I think it's going to be even worse of a locker room situation.
I think bad game as opposed to loss, maybe two different things. If they lose a close game but play well, I think you still have that. But yeah, if they get the doors blown off them, certainly. And Fletcher Cox, who's normally very tight-lipped on things,
loved his post. Yeah,
he had a comment, and I'm paraphrasing. Basically, he's been on good teams and he's been on bad teams, and we're gonna see what this team has. Are they a team that's gonna yap and start leaking stuff to the media, or are they gonna come together and win it? So yeah, morale wise, if they get the doors blown off them, that could be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I can't agree more with you, Fred, in that sense. If the difference between a loss and getting your doors blown off, if it's from a morale standpoint, I mean, listen, I don't think morale is helped at all from a loss, but it's definitely a difference if you're just, again, getting your defense can't get off the field and offenses are running up and down on them, and your offenses completely just keep shooting themselves in the foot. It's a morale. It definitely kills your morale. So if it's a tight game, I mean, this team just kept running with this Dallas defense. They came close to beat them, and even controversially lost to Dallas. In my eyes, there were some calls that went in Dallas's favor in that one. But I mean, yeah, Joe, it could be a real kick in the morale dinghy, especially if they go out there and get smacked around. Sorry, I got Fred on that one. Teams are holding out D-line, and the refs are not calling it. The Eagles do not practice drills to correct mistakes. Practice coverage drills. That is all. That's Roji. Thanks, Roji. Hit that like and share, buddy. I want to see my Packers make the playoffs and play Philly so I can say the Eagles so I can say to my Eagles friends, the Eagles shit the bed. All right. Thanks, man. Everybody is saying Seattle, Arizona, and the Giants will win these games. Kyle Murray is back, and Tommy DeVito is rolling.
Yeah.
Cardinals ain't going to do much. Zach Ertz isn't there anymore.
Yeah.
Dude, Tommy DeVito. Spare me this Tommy DeVito nonsense.
Listen.
They're like, Barstool did a post. How can you not hate this guy? Or was it Barstool? I forget who it was. I don't know. Crossing Broad.
Crossing Broad did, yeah.
How can you not hate this guy? I absolutely hate this guy. Like, stop.
Well, listen, unfortunately, this season has been riddled with starting quarterbacks going down, if not for part of the season or for all of the season. And a lot of guys have stepped in. Josh Dobbs, let's take him for a second. Oh, he's looking great. Look how great he is. And then, it's nothing. Guys get these little runs that they make.
What is the agent's name? It's so awesome.
Tommy DeVito's.
Yeah, Tommy DeVito. Oh my God! He looks straight out of Goodfellas. Like if you
Listen,
ever would have,
Dad.
if you ever
Sean Stiletto.
Stiletto, yeah. Like I don't know how you feel about this because because you're 100% Italian. But if you would have put this guy in a lineup and you said pick out Tommy DeVito's agent, and this guy is sitting there, I'm going, that's him right there with that name and DeVito. Oh my God. Hashtag Gabagool. Like it's it's fantastic. I love it. I love all the memes. Oh
But
man.
well, here's my thing. It's like, yeah, I mean, definitely runs that stereo. He looks like he's also also the agent to national lacrosse team guys. Like he just has this one big star that made it big. But here
He's
you
got
go.
he's got the hat on. My God, look at this guy. I love him.
I can't wait to blow the doors off of these guys. I might have to book the trip to Philly Sports Trips to go to New York and watch this happen in New York.
Oh, that's funny. It seems the coaches and team checked out. AJ Brown is another TO. All right, man. I think we're getting a little. I mean, I see some similarities. The stinkers are Desai and Johnson. I have been beating that drum about them too.
Why though? Why?
Mike has not been having. I'm just doing all these shows with him. We never won in Seattle. Counting this is a big L. We never know. Now we never won. We haven't won since the Phillies won in 08. That's the last time the Eagles have won in Seattle. I've been calling for the defense consultant to help decide. I mean, as I've been saying, a second set of eyes wouldn't hurt. I mean, the conversation, and this isn't for defense, but Frank Reich's out there. Of course, he got fired from the Panthers. People are talking about bringing him in from an offensive standpoint for another second set of eyes. Are you guys for, against, or?
Well, here, I mean, in Doug Peterson's, I believe it was his last season here, they didn't even have an official defensive coordinator. They had a team of 13 coaches. So if you want to bring in a consultant in Frank Reich, sure, I have no problem with it at all.
I hated that, by the way.
I'm fine with Frank Reich. I think the offense actually might need more help than the defense. Maybe not. I don't know. Sean, I just can't wrap my head around the missed tackling. And I think Brian Johnson's getting better. Like the Cowboys game, I think outside of a few drives there and the consistent, like you said, Joe, every coordinator they have won't run the ball. It's a philosophy thing. It's a Sirianni thing outside of Shane Steichen, who did run the ball. But Desai needs to come up with better game plans going into the games. He always adjusts. Like I said, the Cowboys I don't know if you were listening, Mike. The Cowboys only gave up 9 points in the second half. They had multiple 3-and-outs and caused a defensive turnover. They did the same thing to the Chiefs, the Dolphins. I think they even held the Bills to 10 in the second half as well. Outside of the 49ers game, they do adjust. So a second set, Belichick. What's his next comment? Bring Belichick as the consultant.
Yeah.
I would love to see Bill Belichick as a consultant. Oh, yeah.
Well, be teaming back up with Matt Patricia.
Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting he's on the team.
Yeah, I mean, shouldn't he be the set of eyes that should be helping him out? Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the issue, actually. Matt Patricia's on this damn staff. They're probably listening to him.
He's probably telling all the media members that they're not dressed appropriately for their press conferences. Guys, remember that one?
And we forget,
Yeah.
we lost Gannon, and we also lost Denard, our defensive backs coach, who was supposed to be the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, that's true.
And they had to fire him because it wasn't going to work. Bad blood at that point. He didn't get his promotion. But
That's true.
Baltimore's D's pretty good down there. The D backs.
Damn. Mike dropped from Fred. I totally forgot about that. Good call.
Yeah, you know what's also a good call? Cherry injury law. That is a good call because if you get hurt at work in a motor vehicle accident, personal injury, or criminal law, David R. Cherry is the man to fight for your rights. You can go to cherryinjurylaw.com or simply call him at 610-565-0300. Again, cherryinjurylaw.com. Workers' comp, motor vehicle, personal injury, criminal law. These are life-altering moments, and this is the man to fight for your rights. 610-565-0300. Again, the phone number is 610-565-0300. That's right, Joe. I saw that, Joe. I saw that. A couple other topics I wanna hit on real quick. Sixers, like I said, they just won. I think this is the fourth game in a row for them, right? 129, 111. As you guys mentioned, I think Maxey only scored like 9 points tonight. Not his best game, but good.
Yeah, he
Again,
went like 0 for 6, 0 for 7 to start the game. It wasn't great.
yeah, he's like two. I think I just saw stats 2 from 13 from field goals. So,
Ugh. Yeah, that's
yeah.
awful.
Listen, this is the game. If Maxey's going to have a stinker, I'm okay with it. I mean, like I said, could you imagine being a Pistons fan starting 2-1? Like, all right, here we go, guys. This is where the Pistons turn around. 20 straight game. Oh, I'm sorry, 21 straight game loss.
Once Embiid goes 30 and 10 in the first half, it's like, all right, this is going to be some cruise control here.
Sixers are, they played some not so great teams as of recently, but the Sixers are winning, and Joel Embiid is playing at that MVP level as well.
I think this is prime Joel. I don't think I've seen him play like this to start a season. This is what we've been waiting for.
Joe, this is better than I think even Dibes had a comment somewhere early on because it was way in the beginning of the show because we weren't talking Sixers, so we didn't bring it up. But yes, Embiid is playing better than last year because he's a team player and he's crashing the offensive boards. I can't imagine. I love this. They're doing load management. There you go. He's playing better than his MVP season last year, just dominating. It's unbelievable. He dropped 39 points tonight in 41 points tonight in 31 minutes. He's been dropping 30 and 29 minutes every night. And they're doing it the Michael Jordan way. They're not sitting out load management. That Bulls team would always blow teams out and just sit out the fourth quarter. They're not even playing full games. Like last night, every single player, or 2 nights ago, every single player scored a point. Tonight, every single player on the roster scored a point except 2 people. Unbelievable. Yeah. One person, except 2 people. Korkmaz didn't score, and Daniel House didn't score.
Korkmaz stinks.
Yeah. Don't tell everyone knows. Springer played though 5 points, but anyhow,
I don't think Korkmaz figured it out yet.
Well, the Sixers didn't either, paying him $5 million a year. But
yeah, it's unbelievable. Like Korkmaz has requested a trade like 5 times in the past 4 seasons. No, it's been at least 3. It's been at least 3, and for some reason they won't do it. Why?
They can't. You can't just trade people. Who's taking on a $5 million contract from him?
Well, they cut him so he can sign somewhere else. I don't care what goes on with him.
But then you're stuck with the roster spot. You need the roster spot.
Nah, they'll pick someone up.
They're not going to go. They're not going to go over. They're right at the cap. They're not going to go pay the luxury tax for Furkan Korkmaz.
I didn't ask you for your logic or your reasonable conversation. All I said was Korkmaz stinks, and they should grant him his wish.
Freddie Burns, this is Edge of Philly Sports. We don't need logic here, sir.
No.
Not when it comes to the Sixers.
Daniel saying can't understand basketball money. Yeah, well.
It is. I don't understand it fully, to be honest, but I do understand that part. It is confusing.
Let's see. I mean, they have 6 games now between. They play the Pistons again one more time on Friday, but between that game, there's 6 more games to Christmas. Let that sink in. How do you guys feel about the Christmas basketball?
Love it.
I love it. I don't know how I feel about it this year with Eagles and Sixers. I think I'd be fine with just one or I'd be fine with one or the other. My wife isn't happy at all. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but is it okay because it's at 8 o'clock? Because I feel like Christmas after like 4, it's done for me. Like
it depends.
I mean,
dinner's at 4. That's when the party starts. The gifts.
Did you not hear Joe earlier? I'm Italian. Dinner's at 11, dude.
Don't you do it the night before the 7 fishes?
Yeah, but we had Christmas dinner. It's 1 o'clock. We eat by desserts out by 4:30, 5 o'clock.
We'll get out by 3. Well, I used to hit 2 houses, but I agree with you though. The 8 o'clock is cool. It's spaced out well. What I didn't like, I think it happened one other year before. The NFL was on. It might not have been the Eagles. The Sixers were at 12. I don't like when the Sixers are at 12. I like that it's either they're late evening or mid afternoon. But
Sixers beat the hell out of the Bucks a couple years ago on Christmas.
Yeah,
that was the earlier one. That was like 2 o'clock. They shot the lights out from 3. And it was, I remember it because I'm like, this is unsustainable. They're not going to shoot the lights out like this every game.
I will say this. The last time the Eagles played on Christmas, they played Dallas, and it was when we were younger. So we were with our parents and like going, at least in my case, went to my aunt and uncle's house. It was me, my aunts, uncles, grandparents, all cousins around. That was awesome. Now us being the parents with the kids and having to do all the rounds, 3 or 4 houses in a day, like especially in my house, so like my mother-in-law comes over and her partner and Lex, and they start the cooking, and the Manhattans are going, and then dinner keeps getting pushed back, and we don't even end up eating until 7 or 8. And now I'm going to be here and get away from the TV, and it's like, no, this is your fault. You guys continue to drink. You push back dinner. I'm having my time. I hope she's not watching this right now.
I like the story. I have to correct you, though. There is another time earlier that the Eagles played on Christmas Day.
Okay.
And that same year, they won the Super Bowl. Nick Foles was your quarterback. It was a
I didn't know. Okay. Oh, my God. I was at that game. That's right. I was at that game.
We were there, Joe.
That's right. I was at that game.
It was an 8 o'clock game. It was a Sunday.
You're right. It was.
It was pretty much a Sunday night game, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Like that.
Totally forgot about that. We were at that game.
Eagles Raiders. It was cold as all get out. My boys.
It was.
That was the first year of EoP.
It very well could have been. Yeah.
Yeah. It was. There's a lot of. Yeah.
Yeah. Miller was with us. Yeah.
I remember Johnny Marks on whatever station he was on the next day, calling for it's over. The playoff run's over. Foles is trash, and all this stuff. And I was like, oh my God.
Isn't that, yeah, I think that's how he ended up getting the tattoo, because he said, if they win, I'm going to tattoo.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Good on him for going through with that.
I had to. I think he'd be like thrown out of the city if he didn't do it at this point.
Yeah, I remember that game. JJ had a big run right in front of us.
I want to touch on a couple more spots before we head out, because we got about a few more minutes here. We talked Phillies a lot, a little bit already, but the one big thing is Yamamoto. Apparently, the Phillies are meeting with him. Guys, do you feel there's any, I want to say, bigger moves coming, or is there just any bigger moves for the Phillies, or are they going to just wait and kind of sprinkle in some pieces?
I think everything they've done up to this is a smokescreen, because they've been waiting for the bigger pieces, the Soto trade, the Ohtani signing. I think they've been waiting for the dominoes to fall. And, Dombrowski just putting it out there saying, kind of standing pat, looking for little pieces to improve here and there. I think it's a smokescreen. The fact that they're in and having a meeting with Yamamoto, I think that kind of is a tell. And once they know what's going on with this, then they'll start, kind of piecing some things together. That they have to bolster the bullpen. I do think they need a left fielder and a bench bat. It'd be ridiculous for them to go out and say that they're in the running. They're one of 7 teams going after this guy who can command up to $250, $300 million. And then for them, if they lose in the sweepstakes, to fall on their hands and say, oh, no, well, we were just taking a meeting anyway to see where we are. I think it's absolutely, if that's the route that they are going, it's bad. It's just a bad look as well. Going back to what we were talking about earlier about bad looks with Bryce Harper, I do think that they're going to be in the market for some help come after this move. Do I think that there's a chance that they get Yamamoto? Absolutely not. Not only because of the bigger markets, because he is on the record. His agent, his translator, whoever the hell you want to say it is, saying that he wants to play with another Japanese player. Well, guess what? You know who now has a Japanese player who now has all the money in the world to go out to sign another big contract? You know who? Ohtani. Okay, I'll just say Ohtani. He has his own translator. He got his own translator when he signed the contract. He got his own suite in Dodger Stadium when he signed the contract. It's all a move to get Yamamoto there. The meeting with the Dodgers and Yamamoto, Mookie Betts, Freeman, and Ohtani were in the meeting with him. It's a wrap. He wants to be close to Japan. I mean, it's a wrap. He's going to the Dodgers. Sorry, other 6 teams in the mix. That's all she wrote.
Daniel wants to know. Hopefully, Andrew Payne will be ready this year. That's highly unlikely. Highly unlikely, unless it's the end of the season, and that would be the way tail end of the season.
Well, if it's the end of the season and the playoffs, they're not bringing him up and taking a chance on him then, so he's done.
Yeah, and I don't even think that. With a pitcher, you're going like a year and a half easily. So when did he have the surgery, right? Like right at the beginning of the postseason, I believe?
Dude, no. It was a little bit before that, but they prolonged it for a while. I want to say probably like August.
Okay.
It's probably in August he had it, and at that point it was already all right. Well, we know he's out until at least 2025.
Okay. And real quick, the other piece is the Flyers. Flyers are looking good. I think one of the best memes that kind of made me laugh after that Dallas loss.
Orange and black right here. I'm wearing it on purpose.
Joe's ready. He's all fired up. It just seems like these guys are buying in. I mean, listen, they're still missing some superstar pieces, and they're not ready to like compete, but they're buying in, man. That's like, I think that would be my motto for this Flyers team, this young Flyers team. They're buying in, and whatever. Jonesy's selling them, Briere's selling them, and Torts is selling them, and it's actually fun to watch. Like the last night's game, the Predators game. Normally watching that game, like, Flyers, Predators, I could pass up on that. I didn't turn it off, and I enjoyed the entire time. They're winning games, and I believe whether they're in third place and
tied for second place in the Metro.
Yeah, and number six in the conference. Yeah,
and they just had a road trip where they went 4-1 points in every single game. It's just so fun to watch. It's like it was before, like when you could just watch the game. They're exciting. They're crashing the net. One guy I want to specifically point out, because Craig Berube just got traded and fired. And Travis Sanheim put on, I didn't realize this till today, put on 20 pounds of muscle. And he was always a finesse guy, but I remember hating him in the playoffs against the Islanders in the bubble. Like he was soft to me. Like, and I hate that in hockey. Like he's crashing the net like none other. Like, and he was traded this offseason for that guy, Torrey Krug. He was gone. If that dude didn't waive that clause, he's gone. This whole thing's gone.
Yeah, that's right.
And he lit a fire under his ass, and he is playing at another level. Travis Sanheim, I got to give him a shout out.
Yeah, it was 2-1, going into the third, and it was Sanheim who had the tying goal. I mean, it was funny because like me and my wife were watching something, and I was watching it on my phone, paying attention, and then she was about to go to bed, and I put the game on real quick, and then she walked in the back in the room, and I was like, crap, I got to turn it off again. And then she's like, all right, I'm going to bed. I was like, yeah, great. And I put the Flyers back on. I haven't had that feeling in such a long time. And then, they tie it up. They go into OT. And just a fluke goal from Forsberg, 18 seconds into overtime. I mean, the puck was stuck on the pad, and then it just got knocked in. It was such a fluke. I really think, it was deflating, but it was nice to see, that they had that fight. And they didn't give up the lead, in the closing minutes, seconds of the third, which we've already seen them do before in the season. They're exciting to watch right now. Third in the Metro and sixth overall. I mean, again, orange and black. I mean, this is it's funny. Like on Monday, all you see is the memes of, hey, the Flyers are the team to watch right now.
Dude, it is must-watch hockey, and they were down 2-0, and they come back all the time. They always come back. Like, they just keep fighting. We'll see where we're at in a few months, because I'm really curious what's going to happen at this trade deadline. Like, they have to abandon the rebuild if they're well above 500. they have to go for it. Like, you have the goal.
I know.
Konechny's playing, like, they're all all-star. Sanheim's an all-star. Carter Hart's an all-star. Konechny's an all-star. Like,
dude, I would say they have the goalies. They have the goalies. They got talent behind Carter Hart. Maybe who they trade at the line. Who knows?
Well, that's the thing is I think that makes their trading of him more reasonable, acceptable. I don't know if the term you want to use, but like you'll be okay with it because there is some, and they have another guy in the waitings. What's his name?
Yeah.
I'm completely.
I know they draft. I think they drafted 2 goalies too.
Yeah, the one guy's
Yeah,
really good.
they're heavily in the goalie business right now.
You got to be. It's one of the most important spot on the ice. But
Dude, like I really not just another minute of Flyers talk. Like Mitchkov and what was his name?
Butter.
Yeah. Like I wonder if like they come up earlier, maybe not next season, but maybe 2 seasons instead of 3. Like if the Flyers are really putting this thing together and they're playing in the KHL or wherever they are overseas, and they're staying healthy, continuing on their resume, why not bring them over early if they can get out of their set contracts?
It's I think really more what's holding back is the geopolitical issues between Russia and everybody else.
Sure.
So I think that's holding back. And I know Mishkov right now is fighting the pneumonia.
I know he was last week. I actually haven't paid much attention to it, so I don't know if he's better or not. I mean, hopefully he is. I don't know if he's playing, but yeah.
Yeah, you share the bathroom with the rat and the cook that makes your soup next to it. So it can happen. Guys, thank you for joining us tonight. As always, thank you to our great sponsors at phillysportstrips.com, cherryinjurylaw.com, and sherrystickets.com. Use that promo code EoP10 to save yourself 10%. Other than that, we'll have an updated schedule for you next week. We might be a little different next week, but we'll let you know with the timing. Other than that, I'm Big Al.
I'm Joe Sheeran.
And go Birds.